Swashbucklers, you're listening to Under the Crossbones, episode number 71. My name is Phil Johnson. I'm your host for the show. Thank you once again for tuning in. Thank you for telling your friends and leaving reviews and interacting and all that good stuff. Because you are the person, you listening right there, you're the person that keeps this show going. So I appreciate that a whole bunch. And I'm always happy to bring this fun stuff to you. So episode number 71. Fun fact about the number 71, there is the Lockheed SR-71 Blackbird, which was a long-range Mach 3 strategic reconnaissance aircraft and one of the coolest planes ever created. And every boy child my age had a poster of the Lockheed SR-71 in their bedroom, and I had one too. And if you've never seen one in person, they're pretty amazing planes to see in person. They're very, very different. I saw one at, I think I saw it at the Museum of Flight in Washington, up near Seattle. It's in Tukwila, Washington, I think. But there are 8 or 9 of them in various museums around the country. And if you've never seen an SR-71, go to an aircraft museum and check one out, because they're very cool to look at. They're very bizarre-looking planes. My guests on the show today are Capt'n Tor and Gwenyvarr Blackshades Lovelocket of the Ne'er-Do-Wells Pirate Cads. Ne'er-Do-Wells Cads, geez, I'm going to say that again. The Ne'er-Do-Well Cads Pirate Invasion. Yes, Capt'n Tor and the Ne'er-Do-Wells Cads Pirate Invasion. Man, that's a mouthful. But this is going to be a really fun interview. These two, Gwenyvarr and Tor, are full-time pirates. This is what they do. And the band, the event, is an event. It's a big theatrical event. So we're going to talk a bunch about that. We're going to talk about the logistics of running a large group of entertainers. We're even going to kind of get into piracy as personal development. Now, you've probably never thought that would come up in a show, right? But we talk about the immersion in a character to develop different aspects of yourself that you'd like to have. And it's a really fun, interesting conversation. This one is a blast. These two are some of the nicest people you will ever listen to or ever meet. And so this is going to be fun. You're going to dig this talk. So I am done performing for the year. I made it through, and good shows. Shout out to Dwayne the Postal Carrier for coming out to the Rona Park show the other night. Good to see him. And so January and February dates are already up on the calendar. There's a bunch more, another dozen shows or stuff, things that will be announced very soon as my assistant gets back from his vacation and puts them up on the web for me. And so if you want to find out where I'm going to be performing in January, February, and later in the year, go to underthecrossbones.com, click on the tour dates button, and you can check all that stuff out. So a little bit of logistics out of the way here. This is going to be the last regular episode of the year, because I'm going to take next week off because my girlfriend has the week off of work, and we're pretty much just going to eat because that's what we do. You know that's what we do. I've talked about eating plenty of times. And so next week, there will be something new in your feed. It's going to be different. It's going to be non-piratey. It's going to be a treat for you, and I hope you dig it. But you have to be a subscriber to get it. So if you are not yet subscribed, make sure you go to underthecrossbones.com, click on the subscribe link, and subscribe in your preferred fashion, and you will get something fun in your little RSS feed next week. All right, so if you're listening to this on pirate radio or streaming somewhere or whatever, make sure that you're subscribed, because that's the only way you get the special treat next week. And in January, we will be right back on. I've got some Ed Fox coming on the show. I've got Vince Lozano coming on the show, Lee Ehrenberg coming on the show. Lots of really good interviews ready to go in the hopper for January and February. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Make sure you stay tuned for that. The other thing that I've been working on, and this is outside of comedy, it's outside of pirates. This is another thing. You may or may not know, I've been a music teacher for the last 25 years, something like that. And I have been, for the last 3 or 4 years, I've been working on a guitar learning method that I've been using with my private students. And that is going to be released to a large worldwide audience on the internet in February. We're going to be kicking it off in January, on January 16th, with the 30-day guitar challenge. The 30-day guitar challenge. I can't talk today. But it's going to be good. What it is if you've always wanted to learn how to play the guitar, or you've tried in the past and you've had trouble sticking with it or doing it or whatever, in 30 days, we're going to get you playing 3 songs. That's a pretty good goal for not being a guitar player, right? And so that's the 30-day guitar challenge leading up into that starts January the 16th. And if you want to check that out and learn how to play guitar with me, go to underthecrossbones.com/guitar, and it'll take you right to the sign-up form so that you can take part in that. So yeah, I'm not slacking off over the next 2 weeks. There's things to be done. I'll have a new single out in January too. So plenty of things happening. If you're enjoying the show, and I hope you are, join us over on Facebook at facebook.com/underthecrossbones. On Twitter, we're at undercrossbones, no the. And, of course, you can always get all the show notes for this episode and all the others. This episode is underthecrossbones.com/071. If you want to help support the show, I appreciate that. There's a little PayPal donation box that you can hit at underthecrossbones.com/support. Just hit the little PayPal box, put whatever amount you feel is worthy in there, and that's just very nice. It's like a donation. If you are still cramming your Christmas shopping in, there's a little bit of there's an Amazon banner on the same page there. You click that Amazon banner, you go finish your Christmas shopping, you buy yourself something nice in the process. Amazon kicks me back a few pennies. It doesn't change your cost at all, and it helps support the show. If you want to be a sponsor of the show, that's cheap and easy, and I can hook you up with that. All that information again at underthecrossbones.com/support. All right, so let's dig into this interview. Ready? I'm going to try and say the name again. Here it goes. This is my interview with Capt'n Tor and Gwenyvarr Blackshades Lovelocket of the Ne'er-Do-Well Cads Pirate Invasion. Yeah, did it. Oh, there it is. Here we go. Check it out. Give me a little bit of a rundown of the band and what you guys do.
Well, first of all, I would just like to introduce you to my lovely partner in crime here. And this is Miss Gwenyvarr Blackshades Lovelocket, damsel of depravity, duchess of debauchery, madam of mischief, first mate of Capt'n Tor, the Ne'er-Do-Well Cads Pirate Invasion, and the vice chair of the Thousand Islands Pirate Society.
Nice. Well, welcome, Gwenyvarr. I appreciate you being here.
It's all about the flourish, mate.
Absolutely. Got to have some flourish.
Oh, when you're on stage and when you're because we're into theatre as much as we are music, right? So it's all about having those kinds of introductions, and it's wonderful.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about that. You guys aren't just a pirate band; you're a very theatrical experience, right? How does that sort of manifest itself?
Well, we live in a bubble of pirates 365 days a year, so we live this. And now your viewers won't be able to see it, but you can look around and you can see that our house is like, this is a real pirate hangout. We live in one of the oldest houses in Canada. We found it on the digital seas and said we have to live in that house.
Nice.
And so we moved here several hundred kilometers, and I'm looking up at these wooden beams above me, and these were hand hewn by an early American that left in the middle of your revolution. Said, I'm going up there because they're offering free land. Anyway, so I live in a house that I can see the living, breathing marks of your early countrymen actually made this house for us. So there you go.
Very cool. That's very cool.
So that's where we live. We live as pirates all the time. I started being a professional pirate around about 7 years ago now, and festivals in Ontario. Okay. But as that started to grow and experience started to occur, it's like that. I said, like everything in my life, I have to expand it. I have to build upon it and grow it. So I've managed to get my daughter involved. Then I got me missus involved, who's incredibly talented and is sitting right beside me. And then beyond that, we started bringing in troop members. And once through the process of getting troop members, it became very clear that not everybody was up to speed to become a full-blown member of the troop, but there were these people who really fell in love with the idea of being a pirate after they'd been to Pirate Central. That's the name of our abode here. And then they actually played music with us, and they went through some of the auditions as with theatrical auditions. By the time they left their house, it was like everyone was crying because they really wanted to be a part of this. But they may not have been quite up to speed with what we was looking for, and so that really started to get the idea of the Pirate Society. Because we really are a twin organisation. There's Capt'n Tor and the Ne'er-Do-Well Cads Pirate Invasion, which is a musical theatrical troupe.
And there's 5 of us.
And there's 5 there, yeah. And then there's the Thousand Island Pirate Society, which has got up over 80 members now. And those people will come and go, if you like, into performances on stage as we see fit, as the talent is, and as we train people up to do different things. Mm-hmm. So I couldn't help but think of an interview you did recently with You Banished Privateers.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I was listening to their structure, and I thought, well, we're not actually that dissimilar, except that we have 2 formal organizations, and but we do bring those folks in. So when we go up on a stage, we can have 30, 40 people up on the stage all at once, mm-hmm. and that's a pretty spectacular thing to see.
Interesting. What's the purpose of having the 2 separate organizations? Why not have them as one?
Because it started with just myself on my own as just Capt'n Tor. Mm-hmm. And then it became Capt'n Tor and the Ne'er-do-well Cads. And then once it grew bigger, it became Capt'n Tor and the Ne'er-do-well Cads Pirate Invasion. And I think that's the longest name I've ever encountered. But it just felt like that was the right way to do it. Was it the right way? I honestly don't know, mate, but that's what we do.
May I offer my suggestion?
Jump in there, Gwenyvarr. Love.
Well, I can say with 5 members, we're very busy in the band.
Sure.
And we all play instruments, we all sing songs, we all are very tight together. That's very difficult to do with lots and lots of people.
Of course.
So in terms of ensuring sound quality and delivery of our very best performance, I think you end up with a core group of people who are the ones who establish everything else. Now, it's a lot harder to rein in a crew of 80 plus members,
yep.
Right? You might, occasionally there's a little bit of a mutiny you have to quell here and there. and so as a result of that, right, I think, the captain is the head of both. And I'm more of the whipper.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's got titles. You're the stage director and a choreographer with dance and with all the theatrical side of things. My side of it is all the musical components. So I do all the songwriting, mm-hmm. I do all the musical direction. So it's split up.
Okay, interesting. Let's go back. So you said you've been at it about 7 years. Let's go back to 7 years. And what were you doing then? What made you want to become a pirate?
Well, I was in a Celtic trio called Kick the Fiddle, okay. And we were asked by the Students' Union at McMaster University up here in Ontario, Canada, to do a performance at the Hamilton Convention Centre. It was for 2,000 people, and so we had to learn a whole bunch of pirate music. We were a Celtic act, so we did a lot of Irish, Scottish, mm-hmm. East Coast kind of some more Celtic tunes. And then when we added this pirate component to it, and I saw the energy that all these wonderful people were putting into decorating the place, I felt a real connection to that. And I was looking for something that was more than just Celtic.
Okay.
Because I'd been doing that for a number of years, and I needed growth. I needed to expand into something more. And that wasn't giving me what I wanted. And then I had that one singular experience just opened my eyes. I said, this is so much fun. And so then I knew I had to do something new. I had to find out how to be more pirate. What did that mean? And I learned that there was a pirate festival up here in
Milton.
Yeah, it was at the time it was in Milton in Ontario. Mm-hmm. It's changed ownership now. It's now in Guelph, Ontario, and it's called the Pirate Festival. The Pirate Festival. And incidentally, my good man, it was voted. Oh, what was it? Number 4 or number 5 as best pirate event for 2016 on the list. Yeah, it's in there. Look at it. It's called the Pirate Festival. So I think that's a plug.
Just behind our event in Gananoque.
That's right. They're just right behind the event we put on. It's obviously kind of popular, Miss Gwenyvarr.
Aye.
We'll take it. How much did that cost us to get it? Anyway, it was. So the point is that I offered my services to the previous owners, and what I said to them was, look, I want to learn about this whole pirate thing, so I'm willing to give you 3 days setup time, so 3 full days to come in and help you set up. I'll be your dog's body, whatever you need. Then for the duration of the festival itself, I will do whatever you need there. I'll be your dog's body or whatever you need.
Uh-huh.
And then after the event, I'll give you 3 days to help tear down. So that's 9 days that I was willing to give to them, and that's the price that I would pay to learn about a pirate festival.
Nice.
And all that was involved. Well, that went really, really well, and made lifelong friends with the directors there. And my heart was stolen. I said, why did I not find this sooner? And I've never looked back since, mate. So since then, it's like
grow.
Yeah, the taste is I got a taste for it big time.
That's very cool. So now, coming out of the Celtic music, what in the music that you're doing now, what's your angle on it? Because there's a lot of pirate bands out there now, and everybody's got a little bit of a different take on it. Are you really, really traditional with it, or do you try and take it in some different directions? How do you approach it?
Well, the one thing that I've really felt as I've got more into it is that I just want to be more original. So less covers,
okay.
Less Celtic, and more pirate. And to become ultimately to be a prolific songwriter with a lot of original, brand new material emanating from Canada and going out there across the world, and bands are doing that. And really, I think every man likes to feel he's left his mark on a wall. In my case, it's not Kilroy, it's Tor. And I think that's every man needs that. It's a driving force inside our heart. It makes us get up in the morning, makes us feel like punching through whatever there is in our lives that wants to get in the way. And that's a pretty cool feeling.
Most of our music is very high energy.
Mm-hmm.
We love to have people involved in it. I think a hallmark of our music is our inclusiveness, that we really try to bring everyone who's there into the experience.
That's really important.
It's part of our name. The whole pirate invasion experience is about creating an atmosphere of 300 years ago in a tavern, and what you would have experienced in that moment. You would have had people singing at tables and clanking their tankards and doing rowdy toasts and participating in it. And that's really a driving force for what we try to create every time we're performing.
That's right.
Now, I'm sure as you're writing that kind of stuff, you have the live experience in mind rather than, say, a recorded experience, which is a great way to go. When you're writing, what kind of strategies and tricks do you use to get people involved in your songs?
Well, he's absolutely amazing with melody. So when he comes up with a line or a phrase. So I can tell you one thing that he's probably not going to say himself is that he plays about 13 different instruments.
Okay.
And he's a master at most of those, and if not all of them, I suppose. But I mean, and all the major ones like piano and guitar, and he also plays the bagpipes and the ocarina and the tin whistle and the drums.
The point that she's trying to make,
all these kinds of things.
In answer to your question, is that because the background of a tin whistle player is very different from the background of a rock drummer.
Sure.
But because I play so many instruments, that every song that I write, I can literally put on the hat of whatever musical instrument I want and how to approach it. Mm-hmm. And that makes a huge difference to my understanding of how to construct the songs, because a drummer wants something very different from a flute player or piano player or whoever. You just keep going.
Sure.
Our music has been described by others, like, for instance, the what's his name? The fella who runs the Scoundrels Inn podcast. Mm-hmm. He's described our music as so layered and so full, and even the things that we put into recordings, and we create entire soundscapes behind the actual music.
I don't know that's really answered your question. Your question was knowing that I wanted something inclusive that incorporates all of the crowd and all the people and recreate this tavern feel of 300 years ago. I don't know that the individual songs are really meant specifically to do that. I do build things in where I want people to learn chants and people learn certain lines, and there's opportunities. So whenever we have a gathering, a dinner, or we've got an event this Saturday, we're going to be doing the Santa Parade in our local town, and afterwards we're going to be coming back to Pirate Central, and we'll be having a potluck, and these are the opportunities where I'll teach them a specific line in a specific song, and so when that comes up and we're in a pub, suddenly it's like they know it, and a whole group of people know this, and they do it, and the locals in the pub it's just they're in the middle of a theatrical show because there are all these little bits that people learn behind the scenes. So Are they specific pieces that are part of the song? Not necessarily, but I get them to do these specific things, whatever they are, in that song, and that's what brings it alive. It's like I think to give you a bit of an understanding here is, so a typical performance would go into a pub, and instead of being up on a stage necessarily, we'll just be in the pub, and we'll be in there with 20 to 30 pirates that will be with us, all mixed in with all the muggles, all the people, all the regulars. So this is a very authentic experience without being amplified, and just being. And so you're literally standing by me if you're a muggle, or standing between two of our pirates. And suddenly they're starting to do things, and they're doing it in perfect time. It's like going to see a theatrical play and being on the stage with everybody. And I love that, because I spent so many years, learning music so I can play at people and get my ego stroked. And quite honestly, I just grew out of that, and I became a humanist. And what that meant was that I wanted to make music with people. I wanted to feel like I was with people. I wanted to be a part of a community, and I didn't need to sit up on a stage with fancy lights and people, will applaud at me from a distance. I just grew out of that. So that became something as part of that growth and my evolution. So now I want to be with people, and I want to be really close, really, really close, and physically. So as a result of that, that's how the performances change. And my songwriting, with learning dances like the Hangman's Jig, and another troopers learned that in Halifax. So they're looking to come out here and do that too. So that's just great.
We've got another group in Tasmania who's also learned how to do the Hangman's Jig, and in Australia.
It's too much fun, man. So this is
Welcome
good.
to the internet.
Yeah, we'll get them all on a video some points when we do our next upcoming music video on that one. But I don't know if we've answered that.
No, you actually did. That's really great, because it shows me that it's not one piece. It's just the overall ethos of the entire act that is bringing people in. And if you're walking in and not walking on a stage, then people expect, okay, something's going to happen right around me, and I'm going to be expected to participate. And once you've set that expectation, people are more likely to actually participate, which I think is really, really fantastic. What kind of events are you guys doing? You said sometimes it's a pub, or sometimes where do you parade? Okay, tell me about the Christmas parade, because that seems incongruous.
Yeah, well, it's like with the Pirate Society, again, these two organizations joined at the hip. They're really Siamese twins. We're a force for good. The other piece that you're missing is that I'm a love and a life coach as well as a pirate. So I'm a pirate, love and life coach. I've been doing it for 21 years. So I help men through women to have the lives they always wanted and have the relationships they always wanted. And so that thought process, if you're doing it for 20 years, really caring about people, really caring about their lives and their relationships, if you're focused on something like that for 20 years, it becomes who you are, and that's who I am. So the Pirate Society is a really great opportunity to just be a part of the real community, not just the pirate community. So I reached out to the Bytown Brigantine company. That's a company on the St. Lawrence River that owns a couple of wonderful tall ships, and they were looking for some volunteers to help them with a partnership with the Brockville Food Bank. So they're going to be being in this parade. They're going to have this beautiful boat. They're going to be handing out food, collecting food that's going to be given to the food bank. And I guess they just needed some extra volunteers. And I thought, well, what's a better fit than giving them a whole bunch of pirate volunteers? Seriously, doesn't it just seem like a good idea?
And they've been very good to us.
Yeah, we've done some great photo shoots on the Fair Jean on the St. Lawrence, and
drunken boat tours during festivals.
Let's not go there. We could get into trouble. But no, seriously, that's that wonderful crew. It's a great ship. It's amazing to have such a boat right here in our small little town of Brockville. Mm-hmm. And yeah, they have acquiesced and done all sorts of things for us, and we've never given them anything back in return except just taking advantage of it. So in my heart, this is also a way just to say, yeah, we appreciate you. You need something, and it involves the food bank, and that's a huge part. We did something in Gananoque.
Tell them about the other festivals that we do.
Yes.
Well, the Tall Ships Festival was our signature event this year. and hopefully will continue to be so. And based on the organizers' comments to us, and their radio interviews about us, it's pretty obvious that we're going back. And if you haven't heard of it, you should definitely look it up. Tell that to your readers. The Tall Ships Tour. It runs through the Great Lakes throughout the whole year. There's 7 or 8 stops that it does, and you never know where it's going to be. But it was in Brockville this time. It was the last stop, and this is a magnificent event. We had some spectacular tall ships, and these boats charge between $12,000-$30,000 to be there. Mm-hmm. So we had a full encampment right on this little island right off the town.
Because that's something we haven't actually talked about, is that we actually do these full encampments with period historically accurate tents, and we dress it. It's like Disney, but on tour.
Okay, I definitely want to hear more about that. Yes,
if you can imagine it, we recreate that feeling within a festival. So we like to say we're a festival within a festival.
Or as my business coach said to me after coming out to one of our events, your new tagline is "You bring the party to the party, Capt'n Tor." and your viewers may not get that from just sitting here listening to us chatting with you in the calm quiet of our room. But, once we've got an audience and once the guitars are on and once the expectations are up, it's an incredibly noisy and vibrant activity that we bring. And it's breathtaking. And that, to me, is the little dream that comes true when we walk into a pub. So whether it's the encampment, Phil, whether it's the encampment where people walk in and they're just transported back 300 years, and there's all these pirates everywhere, and there's all this canvas and all these tents, and then there's all this cooking demonstrations, and there's our stage and 12-foot tall pirate papa. You just
sword fighting, all of it.
Yeah, I mean, it just keeps growing and growing and growing, and we actually have grown big enough now that we can actually put on our own festival, which we did at Gananoque this year, and that was the first time we actually ran a full festival ourselves. So we were board members with some members of the city. And spectacular event, and it was an old-fashioned, the kind of event you might have imagined 300 years ago.
Okay,
yeah, very low tech.
What would that look like? It required lots of volunteers, lots of hand-on, old-fashioned kinds of games, and it was just brilliant. And yeah, it was an incredible sense of pride and a sense of, wow, did we just do that? At the end of it, and so we're a lot more than just a band. It's like,
and we have kind of two faces as well, because we've got the all ages friendly event that we do.
Good point, very good point.
And then of course we have the after hours adult body shows.
That's right. Oh, they've become infamous, mate. We starting off 7 years ago, it was all about the kids, and for the first 5 years, all about the kids. But then a couple of years ago, when we really started doing getting the troupe going, it suddenly became really aware. But we became really aware that adults really needed an outlet to let go of the pressures of life. They're all standing tall and trying to pay their bills, their mortgage, keep their marriages together, be a good parent, all that kind of good stuff. But it saps the life out of so many people, and they don't notice it happening until they put on a pirate costume, and then all hell breaks loose. And this is something absolutely beautiful, and it ties into the whole life coaching, love coaching thing that I do. And so all of a sudden, you've got this wonderful vehicle for people to start finding their authentic self.
Uh-huh.
And it's quite strange, I know it sounds, to put on a pirate outfit and find your authentic self, but that actually does seem to happen.
Everyone out there listening to this right now will understand it when they know that they've put on a Halloween costume and gone out with their kids. That feeling that you felt more brave, more like you could say something, be something, take that attitude, and suddenly, if you're dressed as Batman, you're Batman. You're bloody Batman. So, and the nice thing about putting on a pirate outfit is you don't know who you really are. So you get the chance to say who you are. And that's a big part of the society and what we do.
Character development.
You build who you are and how people interact with you based on the person, the man or woman you really want to be. The person you take all the best qualities of your muggle life, you make that part of your pirate character, and then you start building upon it all the things that you tend, let's just call a spade, that you're afraid to be in the Muggle world, in the politically Muggle world. There's a lot of things that people want to be and don't let out the bag because they're not sure they'll be accepted. But here, it's like everybody's in the same state, and it's really very cool. And it's a thing of beauty to see people growing and stepping up and taking on leadership qualities.
And entering cleavage contests.
Oh, did you? Did we mention the cleavage contest?
And the sexy leg contests for men. And in Fairhaven, New York, we had our very first sexy butt competition for the men, and my goodness.
We had no idea.
Participation.
First time we ran that one.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Now that really does make sense from a certain thought process. I mean, it is almost sort of a Tony Robbins shock to the system kind of way, where you are stuck in this groove, but we're going to put you in a pirate costume, and you're going to have to do something different, and that's going to it's going to open up your brain to the possibility of there is a different way you can live your life. There is a different way you can do these things that you're already doing, and I think that that absolutely makes sense. That would apply like that.
Yes. Yeah, bang on. Absolutely 100%. And we don't refer to each other by our Muggle names at all. Everyone that's in the society, I mean, there's people there, I I don't even know what their surnames are anymore. I know their first names, but I have to think hard to find some of them because
that's not who they are to us.
Yeah, we only use the pirate names. And part of that is the anonymity, to be able to exercise your ability to practice being this thing that you've always wanted to be, whatever that is.
So just as an aside to that, to join the Pirate Society, they must read and understand the articles that have been created. Uh-huh. We have very clear articles on that. They must attend a minimum of 2 events
per year
in a given year.
Okay.
And there is a small induction ceremony that's secret that I won't tell you about.
Oh, we're so secret. They have to drink Bill's water. No, I didn't say that. No, I didn't say that.
No, it's a lot more fun than that. And they have to live by the code.
Oh, the code! Oh.
So we're going to do the code for you.
Now,
please.
Set the scene. You're in a pub and people, we've come bursting through the door. We shut the door. We switched off the music. Of course, this was with the permission of the owners, of course. But the Muggles in there don't know that, mate. So then in we come. And one of the things that we do is all of the society members learn toasts. And one of these, what we did was we wrote our mission and vision statement as a toast.
Okay.
Think about that for a second. Now imagine 30 pirates doing this, 30 in a pub. The code!
The code!
For the love of pirates, we stand together, we grow together, and live free together under one black flag. Huzzah! Drink!
That's great. I love it. That's fantastic.
Well, the ship's dog was wanting to join in there. Her name's Tortuga. She's a little tricolour black and white Sheltie, and she's the closest thing I could find to a dog in the pirate flag form. So, gorgeous animal, and she
loves toast.
Yes, she loves the toast. so you're going to so that's a way that we, going back to your earlier question of how to encourage participation by getting members of the society to learn a toast. They learn limericks as well. They get to shout these things out. Now just think. Again, to your listeners, just imagine you're going into your average pub and suddenly raising your glass and at the top of your voice shouting, "A toast!" Just think about that.
Yeah.
What it takes to do that. And everybody just goes really quiet and they stare at you and they're hanging on your every word as you say your pirate toast. And it's spectacular. And this is real growth. That really gives people a lot of strength.
That it's really interesting because my job, I'm a comedian. That's my profession. And I experience a lot of the same things where when you first hit that stage, people are kind of tight. They're not necessarily going to laugh a whole lot and you got to warm them up. until they get to that point. And what I see people coming out of the comedy show doing is cracking jokes and making up their own material on their way out the door. And I even found myself doing that before I was doing comedy professionally. But people will be coming out of the show and they're much more open. They're much more energetic. They're in that frame of mind of creating their own comedy now. Do you see people coming out of your events, even the ones that aren't professionally affiliated with you, that are now more in that frame of mind on a regular basis?
Absolutely. It's a pretty spectacular thing to go plowing into a pub or a restaurant where no one expects you, screaming like a band of pirates boarding your ship. And
we call it the boarding party.
Yeah, and some of the people in there, they get really pissed at you, right? Because they don't know what's going on, so they're afraid. Yeah. And of course, anger is the physical manifestation of fear. So now you got all these people who are angry at you because you've invaded their safe space, their safe bubble, and they don't know why you're doing it, what you want. Are you going to go around trying to take money from them, having expectations of them? And as they slowly start to realize that you have no expectation of them, you're not there to take their money. You're only there to pillage and plunder their smiles and laughter. And as they start to realize that they don't have to do anything, they start to relax. But it's really interesting. There is, on occasion, you'll get some men who are really, really uptight and really feel pissed at me, and they'll get in my face. But by the time I've spoken with them, they're crying on my shoulder when we go out, and that's happened many, many times.
It's true.
It was,
I have borne witness to it.
Yeah, it's just I'm invading their space. I'm messing with their local pub.
In fact, then they often follow us to the next pub.
But that is the truth. That is absolutely the truth. We usually have a trail of these wonderful people follow us, because once they break through that barrier that you just described, I won't say they're necessarily converts, but they absolutely love what we bring. They love
and they want to have it again.
And they want it more. I mean, I can remember one occasion we had 3 managers or owners of pubs following us all through the town, going into all the other pubs, and they're just constantly buying drinks for the entire society. It was really amazing. It's breathtaking to see things like that, right?
That's fantastic. Now, how far do you guys travel to do events? Are you mostly working within Ontario, or how far do you go?
That's the honest truth.
We have the same philosophy.
Yeah, I'm encouraged in that. So typically, though, we lose more members the further we go.
Sure.
It's one of the reasons that we've opened up the society, the borders of it further afield. So, our borders have expanded so that if we go into a new area or an area further away, that we've got people there already that can come to our events. And so that's been a very successful strategy.
So all throughout Ontario, to answer the question.
Okay. Yeah.
And into New York State and into Quebec as well.
Okay.
That's the primary places we've been. But that's not to say we wouldn't go somewhere else.
That's just where it is at this point in time.
Yeah.
That's great. Fantastic. What's the best place for people to find you guys online and see what you're doing?
The Book of Faces, I think.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you can find us on the Book of Faces. You just look for Capt'n Tor, Tor, and the word pirate. Well, we've got a massive footprint out there on the digital seas. We visited a lot of islands and a lot of ports. So, yeah, we're all over the place. So it's easy enough to find. And then, of course, you've got the Thousand Island Pirate Society. Come and say hi there.
We do have a website. It's pirateparties.ca.
That's right. That's the.
And we're going into the studio in about 3 weeks' time.
That's right.
To produce our next album.
That's right. That's
nice.
Makes the next album.
It's always a huge project. It's like giving birth to a new child that costs a whole lot of money.
And what's really exciting about it this time is that the first album, that spawned The Hangman's Jig, which is the motivation for you to reach out to me in the first place, which has won 2 awards now, National Award here in Canada and now this International Pirate Awards down in the States.
Uh-huh.
In that album, there was basically just the 3 of us. So for this next album, we've got the entire troupe, and we're also going to be featuring as many of the Pirate Society folks as we can. So all of those cheers that you hear in the background for the next album, they'll all be members of the Pirate Society, and they'll all learn specific things that are required. So now when they listen back, and they're not musicians or singers, and they listen to the album,
that's me.
Whatever you can see it. It's really cool. So that's what they call a membership benefit, mate. So. That's going to be different, and that is incredibly exciting to know that, to be able to write those parts in and get that organized. Brilliant.
That's fantastic.
Just brilliant. So we've got a spectacular New Year's event this year here at Pirate Central. We'll be putting on a full show. We've got all sorts of burlesque dancers coming in, and we'll be putting on a full pirate show. Mm-hmm. So we're going to use that opportunity to get some crowd sounds and get some people, happy.
Yep. That's always fun. I've actually recorded crowd sounds at my gigs too. For a song, I needed a gang vocal for one song, and I didn't want to assemble a gang. So over my next 4 or 5 shows, I just had the entire audience scream out the thing that I needed, and I just recorded it, put it all in. It was fantastic. In my case, it was the word boobs, but
my favorite subject. Oh,
kindred spirit.
Yes.
Huzzah!
This has been really fun, you guys. Is there anything I didn't ask you yet that you want everybody to know about?
There's always something that one remembers after the fact, isn't there?
Of course.
But I think what I would like to say is I'd like to thank you, first of all, for reaching out. I'd like to thank our mates that all over wherever that voted for us in the Reader's Choice Award with L'Echo de Mer. The editor is Marc Forget. He's a Quebecer out of Hull, Quebec, the most magnificent man and pirate, and he's just everyone needs to know this man, and I'm sure you know his work with his magazine. Definitely want to say hi to him, and thanks to you, and thanks to him, and thanks also to you said it already. I just got blank.
The Scoundrels.
Of course, the Scoundrels in. You see, that's embarrassing to not remember. But that's okay. You'll forgive me because it's a great band. That's a wonderful book. That's and the only other thing I'd like to reach out to some of our European mates that I'd really like to get a European tour going within 3 years to 5 years. And so we're looking at ways to make that happen. So if you're a pirate and you're in Europe, or if you're a festival organizer and you're in Europe, we want to come to Europe. So let's try and put our heads together and find a way to make that happen.
There you go. Nice. And they're listening. I think we're up to 70 countries for this show for listeners now. So
we've been popular worldwide when we look at our distribution of sales on the internet for the music that we provide and produce. And at this point, I think when I was working on a grant application for it, I saw that we had some 40,000 downloads at this point.
Nice.
When you add everything all up. So we're pretty excited. And they're from all over, like Tasmania, Turkey, all over Europe.
And I did see that your coverage was all around the world as well, Phil. So you're absolutely right. And that's why I just put that out there, because I know that's going to end up in the right ears.
There you go.
And yes, reaching out to them.
Yes.
Fantastic, guys. I'm really glad we finally got this together to do it. You seem like such wonderful, lovely people. Now I have to come to Canada and see one of your events.
Hi.
You do. And
you're invited. How's that?
All right, you guys. Well, thanks so much. And thanks for taking the time. I really appreciate it. And I hope we can talk again soon.
Aye.
Aye, indeed. All right, Miss Gwenyvarr Blackshades, the code one more time.
Right, code.
The code!
The code!
For the love of pirates, we stand together, we grow together, and live free together under one black flag. Huzzah! Drink!
And there it is, friends. That is my interview with Capt'n Tor and Gwenyvarr of the Ne'er-Do-Well Cads Pirate Invasion. Ooh, look, I said it correctly again. I was so proud of myself. Oh, it's like I'm actually getting warmed up and everything. So as they said, they are trying to book a European tour. So I know I've got European listeners. If you want them to come out there, get in touch with them. If you're promoting, if you're producing festivals out there, get in touch with them. Bring them on out to Europe. It'll be a good time. I also mentioned the music video of mine where I had audiences yelling boobs. That will be in the show notes. That is a song called If I Were a Girl. So if you want to check that out, make sure you hit the show notes under thecrossbones.com/071, and you can see the video for If I Were a Girl, which is horrendous. You'll see what I mean when you get there. Websites. Be sure to check out Capt'n Tor and the crew at facebook.com/pirateparties.ca, or just go to pirateparties.ca. That's .ca. That's a Canadian website, you guys. Yeah. They don't have the .com up there. They do .ca. Under the Crossbones is sponsored today by Pirate Radio of the Treasure Coast, WKKC-DB. They play the best pirate music and the best pirate radio talk. not that there's a lot of pirate radio talk out there, but they play the best, including this show, Under the Crossbones. You can listen to Under the Crossbones and all their other shows. Just go to pirateradiothetreasurecoast.com or pirateradiotc.com. And don't forget to download their apps, the Pirate Radio Treasure Coast app, which is their music station, and the Pirate Radio Talk, which is their talk station. Cool apps. Like I said, you can hear Under the Crossbones on there. New episodes on Sunday mornings and back episodes the rest of the week elsewhere on the talk station. I got a free ebook for you. If you have not grabbed the free ebook yet, it is Alexander Exquemelin's Pirates of Panama or Buccaneers of America. Great seminal piece of writing from the golden age of piracy, written by Alexander Exquemelin, who was a doctor, got himself onto some pirate ships through a variety of ways, and wrote about his experiences. So it's pretty interesting stuff, and I've got a nice copy of it, ebook version for you for free. You can go to underthecrossbones.com and click on the free ebook button. Or if you're out and about and all you have is your phone with you, just text the word pirate and your email address to 94253. Just text the word pirate and your email address to 94253. Was that right? 94253. Like I've never done that ad before, right? Who knows? It was a long night after the last show last night. I had donuts, found myself some donuts. It was tricky, but I found a Yum Yum Donuts and had some mediocre donuts to celebrate the end of the year. All right, so let's get into some comedy and some music. We got comedy today from Tony Alfano, who is a gent that I did some shows in San Diego with recently. Very funny dude, and you can find him at TonyAlfanoComedy.com. We're going to hear from him. And then we're going to hear a song called Surrender the Gold by Capt'n Tor and the Ne'er-Do-Well Cads Pirate Invasion. And they won the International Pirate Award this year for Hangman's Jig, which is a song that everybody loves. And Capt'n Tor sent me Surrender the Gold, and he said, everybody loves Hangman's Jig, but this is my favorite song on the record, says Capt'n Tor. So we're going to hear Surrender the Gold, all right? Let's get into comedy from Tony Alfano, and then we'll hear Surrender the Gold by Capt'n Tor and the Ne'er-Do-Well Cads Pirate Invasion. Ooh, I did it again.
Hey, I just broke up with my girlfriend recently. More Oz. This is a good breakup, you guys. It's a good thing. I actually broke up with her on the 4th of July. Yeah, I think I just got caught up in like freedom and independence and all that. Yeah. I got really carried away though. Like I actually used this speech from that movie Independence Day when I broke up with her. I was like, I will not go quiet into the night. I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna survive. Today is my Independence Day. And can you write down the Netflix password before I leave?
Travelled the oceans, plundered the seas, my crown by me side, I did as I pleased. Took what I want from wherever I found it, all surrendered the gold on their knees. Tell ships in me fleet, them's knew we were strong, yet in our way it wouldn't take long to pull them in close and board the men will. Sailors and captains all sang us the song. Surrender me gold, I surrender me gold. Leave me with life, let me grow old. I surrender me gold. Allow me life to die. Surrender your gold. I'll leave you with life. Just surrender your gold. Spare me life to die. I'm not a bad captain, a soul crew says. It's red I torture, red I surrender your gold and spare your life today. Surrender your gold, I'll leave you with life. Just surrender your gold and spare your life today. John wants to kill ya, only to bloom ya. John wants to catch ya, but I might ruin ya. What gets in the way of me and your gold? I cannot promise that you will grow old. Surrender your gold, surrender your gold. I'll leave you with life, I'll let you grow old. Just surrender your gold, I'll spare your life today. Surrender your gold, and I'll leave you your life. Just surrender your gold, I'll spare your life today. You'd only say this, I want to spend it. Go, you'd only count it. I want to spend it and share it with friends. Give me up that gold, Virgo. Another day over, another day won. I'm hungry and my mates to have fun. Captain's a part to the girls in the rum. Surrender the gold to the wenches for fun. Surrender your gold, surrender your gold. I'll leave you with life, I'll let you grow old. Just surrender your gold and I'll spare your life today. Surrender your gold, and I'll leave you with life. Just surrender your gold, spare me life today. Surrender your gold, I'll leave you with life. Just surrender your gold, I spare me life today. Surrender your gold, surrender the gold, I'll leave you with life. I'll let you go old, just surrender your gold.
Hand it over.
And I'll spare you your miserable life today.
I just wanted to run him through.
And that's our show for today, friends. Thank you once again for tuning in. I absolutely appreciate it. It's 2016 has been a weird year. Hopefully 2017 is going to be better for everybody all the way around, and I'm looking forward to it. I've got some great episodes coming up for you, so make sure that you're subscribed to the show. Go out, tell your friends about Under the Crossbones. That is the best promotion ever, anywhere. If you want to find out more about Capt'n Tor and the Ne'er-Do-Well Cads Pirate Invasion, go to pirateparties.ca or visit them on Facebook, also at pirateparties.ca. If you want to hear more from Tony Alfano, go to TonyAlfanoComedy.com. And if you want to hear more from me, go to PhilJohnsonComedy.com. All the show notes for this episode are at underthecrossbones.com/071. I appreciate you leaving the iTunes reviews and all that good stuff. And don't forget, next week, subscribers only, a special treat in your feed, and I hope you enjoy it. All right? See you in January. Merry holidays. Merry holidays? Is that a thing? Happy holidays? Whatever holidays you are digging, or no holidays, just spend the next 2 weeks eating. Okay? I'll see you in January.